McDonald's of Effingham and Coles County are WEIU TV's exclusive supporter of the Coles County Clash Scholastic Bowl. McDonald's of Effingham and Coles County are proud of all the contestants in this program. Enjoy the show from your friends at McDonald's of Effingham and Coles County.
All right, folks, if I could have your attention, please. We are just about to begin. We are going to call in the two sides shortly. First, on behalf of President David Glassman and of the entire Eastern Illinois University community, thank you for coming. Welcome to our Coles County Clash Scholastic Bowl version. We are very much looking forward to seeing this wonderful head-to-head match of brilliant young people who really very much epitomize, I think, what it means to be young, competitive, and brilliant. I hope that is the case this evening, as it so often has been in the past. I'm Richard England, Dean of the Sandra and Jack Pine Honors College. All I can do is ask these questions and marvel at the answers I'm about to hear. I know very few of them myself. It's my pleasure then to invite in the teams from Mattoon and Charleston. Please come in. Let's have a round of applause for our competitors. This tournament will have two halves, each timed at 20 minutes. The toss-up questions will be worth 1 point, and the bonus questions will be worth 1 point. There is no particular advantage to ringing in early in a points sense, although obviously on toss-ups you need to be in first in order to get first crack at the bonus round that follows. We will also have 2 timeouts in each half for each team. Each timeout will be for 1 minute in duration, and that will not count against the 20-minute half time. We'll take a break of about 10 to 12 minutes in between so that we can figure out how to re-strategize, re-energize, and then we'll come back for the second half. If there are new players who are introduced, either at the half or after a timeout, we will have them introduce themselves before we resume the clock. The 10 seconds will be the amount of time before a toss-up question goes dead, or a bonus question for that matter, with the exception of calculation questions, for which there will be times of 30 seconds. I see you have some paper and pencils at hand, or pens as the case may be, so you're ready for those as they arise. It is now my pleasure to ask the two team captains to introduce themselves and their coaches, and then we'll have the other players introduce themselves. So we'll start with Mattoon. Go ahead. Go ahead.
We are the Mattoon Scholastic Bowl team. We are coached by Brendan Eight, and I am Atlas Elliott.
Okay. Do you want to test your buzzer? Great. And next?
My name is Evan Eagle, and I'm a senior.
My name is Kendall Holzhauser, and I'm a senior.
My name is Lincoln Wheeler, and I'm a freshman.
My name is Charles Stark, and I'm a junior.
Excellent. Are those microphones working? Oh. Do make sure you're pressing on the button as you speak. I think that may be the trick there. Let's try with Charleston. Go ahead.
Okay.
There you go. I think if you hold the button, you're in good shape.
I'm Annabelle Worley. I am the captain of the Charleston High School Scholastic Bowl team. Our coach is Ann Kidwell, and my teammates will be introducing themselves from my left to my right with our favorite dictator, mine being Brendan Eit.
Okay, a little personal. All right, next up.
My name is Damon Chinchilla. I'm a sophomore, and my favorite dictator is Doudna.
My name is John Peterson. I'm a junior, and my favorite dictator is Nick Wild.
I'm Blaine Homan. I'm a sophomore, and my favorite dictator is Toe Mater.
My name is Daniel Ogle. I'm a sophomore, and my favorite dictator is Bambi's mom.
All right. Well, I've heard of the last of those. I'm still mystified by them. I think you may want to move your microphones a bit closer. Some of you already have. I think they will stretch a bit. And if there are no further questions or concerns, we will begin our first half. For the first toss-up question, here we go. This author included sections on the regicides and individual terrorism in his book, The Rebel. In a novel by this author, Marie Cardona dates the narrator, who is dazzled by the bright sun before shooting an Arab man. Meursault narrates what Frenchman's novel, The Stranger? Mattoon.
Albert Camus.
It is indeed Camus. Well done. A point for you, and Mattoon gets the first crack at this set of bonus questions. American attorney Steve Donziger was convicted of contempt after winning a $9.5 billion judgment in this country. For a point each, Donziger helped indigenous groups win a judgment against a company that polluted what South American country, led from 2007 to 2017 by Rafael Correa?
Nestle?
No, I'm afraid that's incorrect. No, I'm afraid it was Ecuador. Okay, next question. Donziger's lawsuit opposed Chevron, a company in this fossil fuel industry that drills in Ecuador. Answer? No answer from Mattoon? Charleston? You don't need to buzz in on the
Oil.
bonus, but that's all right. Oil industry is correct. Yes, a point for Charleston then. All right. The case concerned pollution in part of this vast ecosystem. Due to slash-and-burn farming, it may have become a carbon source rather than a carbon sink as of 2021.
Rainforest?
I need a bit more than that.
Tropical rainforest?
No, I'm afraid I can't accept that.
Amazon rainforest.
The Amazon rainforest is what we were looking for. Well done, Charleston. All right. Thank you. Let's move on to the next toss-up question. Fingers on buzzers. These objects were the subject of a bitter feud between Othniel Charles Marsh and Edward Drinker Cope. Mary Anning discovered many of these objects on the English. Charleston?
Fossils.
Fossils is correct. So you have the first crack at this set of bonus questions. Water turning to ice inside of rocks is a common cause of this process. Give this term, for a point each, give this term for the gradual degeneration of exposed rock due to various processes, such as thermal stress and exfoliation. Erosion is incorrect. Charleston?
Weathering?
Weathering is correct. Well done. Weathering is distinct from this other process, in which material is removed by wind, water, or ice. Canyons are carved by this process.
Erosion.
Now it's erosion. That's right. Well done. Finally, lichens cause weathering by wrenching open cracks with these web-like fibers grown by most fungi.
Mycelium.
Mycelium is correct. Well done. Okay. On to the next toss-up question. An opera set in this kingdom features a hymn to the sun, sung in the audience's native language. In another opera set in this kingdom, Amonasro's daughter is in love with Radames. Giuseppe Verdi's Aida. Charleston?
Egypt.
Egypt is correct. All right. So Charleston has first crack at these set of toss-up questions. The first New York Times bestseller that was not in English was Alexander Lenard's 1958 Latin translation of a book named for this character. For a point each, name this honey-loving teddy bear who appears in books by A.A. Milne.
Winnie the Pooh.
Winnie the Pooh is correct. In the first story from Milne's book, Winnie the Pooh, one of these objects transports Pooh to a beehive. A novel by William Penn Dubois is named for 21 of these objects.
Dragon.
I'm afraid that is incorrect. Mattoon?
Balloon.
Balloon is correct. Well done. A large meal of honey eaten at this character's home causes Pooh to become stuck in this character's front door for a whole week.
Piglet.
I'm afraid that's incorrect. Mattoon?
Rabbit.
Sorry, again?
Rabbit.
Rabbit is correct. Well done. Okay. So a nice sharing out of the Winnie the Pooh lore between the teams. On now to the next toss-up question. The last of this text's 18 chapters is Freedom and Renunciation. This text, which takes place at the start of the Kurukshetra war, is a dialogue between a prince and his charioteer. Krishna advises Arjuna what part of the Mahabharata that states core Hindu doctrines. Charleston?
The Vedas.
No, I'm afraid it's not the Vedas. Mattoon? And that's time. It is, in fact, the Bhagavad Gita. All right, moving on. Joule heating, this is another toss-up. Joule heating is given by this quantity times current squared. Tolerance and this quantity are typically indicated by colored bands on certain circuit components. Voltage over current equals... Charleston?
Resistance.
That's correct, electrical resistance. Well done. You can tell from my delay there that I had no idea what the answer was. I had to actually look. All right. So, Charleston, you get the first crack at the toss-ups. For a point each, name these sources of cheap labor in English history. This peasant class of medieval England had extremely few rights and usually toiled as tenants tied to a lord's land. In Russia, Alexander II emancipated these people in 1861.
Serfs.
Serfs, correct. In this system, popular for cloth making in England and much of Western Europe, rural workers and housewives made goods using raw material sent to them by city merchants.
Cottage industry.
No, I'm afraid I can't accept that. Mattoon? The answer? No answer. It is putting out or the domestic system. Finally, these places were originally intended as charitable centers for the local poor. By the 19th century, they exploited their residents for cheap, tedious labor.
Poorhouses.
Not quite. No?
Is that a prompt?
That's a prompt, yes.
Oh, workhouses.
Workhouses is correct. Sorry, I should have made it clearer that was a prompt. Well done. Okay. Let's move on to the next toss-up. This country's first landing failed to impress the Zamoria of Calicut in 1498. The Cape of Good Hope was first rounded to link Europe and Asia by sea by this country's Vasco da Gama. Prince Henry the Navigator... Charleston.
Portugal.
Portugal is correct. Very good. All right, on to the next round of bonus questions, to which Charleston has the first chance. This poem refers to the sea as the whale road, in a figure of speech called a kenning. For a point each, what Old English epic is named for a hero who slays the monster Grendel?
Beowulf.
Beowulf is correct. Like most English poetry, Beowulf is based on this technique instead of rhyme. By repeating consonant sounds, this technique links the two halves of a line.
Meter.
No, I'm afraid that's incorrect. Charleston? Oh, sorry, Mattoon? Answer? No, it is, in fact, alliteration. This author's 1940 essay on translating Beowulf discussed alliteration in Old English verse. Beowulf was a major influence on this British author's legendarium.
Tolkien.
Tolkien is correct. Okay. We'll have a 1-minute pause. Before we restart the clock, we'll have the new players introduce themselves and test their microphones and buzzers. This time we'll start with Charleston, since we have the most new players, I think, over here.
I'm Danner Van Heis. I'm a freshman, and my favorite dictator is Goofy.
Goofy, all right.
Noah Stepp, freshman, and my favorite dictator is Wally.
Okay.
Sorry, sophomore. My bad. My bad. My bad.
It's all right.
Josie Worley, sophomore. My favorite dictator is Blaine Homan.
Okay, you want to test your buzzer there, Josie? Excellent, okay.
My name's Peyton Clifford. I'm a freshman, and my favorite dictator is Mickey Mouse.
All right. Okay, and over here, I know we have some new faces on the Mattoon side as well. You want to go ahead and introduce yourselves?
My name is James Cornett, and I'm a freshman.
My name is Keenan Kirsch, and I am a sophomore. My favorite dictator is, I'm aware. I would just like to add in that my favorite dictator is, what's your name?
Richard England.
Richard England.
Thank you. This is a bonus point for Mattoon. All right. Just kidding. All right. Okay, very good. Let us begin. We're ready to go now. Next toss-up. A Lord Byron poem is titled for one of these actions performed by Childe Harold. Christians who perform these actions follow the way of St. James. The narrators in the Canterbury Tales perform this action. Charleston.
Pilgrimage.
Pilgrimage is correct. Okay. Clear the button there. All right, now Charleston has the first crack at these bonus questions. A study in this state found no proof of voter fraud in the 2020 presidential election. For a point each, name this southwestern state where Mark Kelly won a Senate seat in 2020.
Arizona.
Arizona is correct. During the 2020 election, Cindy, the widow of this Arizona senator who died in 2018, endorsed Joe Biden.
Smith.
No, that is incorrect. Mattoon?
James.
James. John McCain. How soon they forget. All right. Finally, for Charleston, this woman, who is a former Air Force pilot, was the incumbent Republican senator defeated by Kelly in 2020. Answer?
Johnson.
No, I'm afraid that's incorrect. Mattoon?
Smith.
Keep guessing Smith. One of these days you'll be right. It was, in fact, Martha McSally. All right. Moving on to the next toss-up. In this novel, a dog named Fanny is rescued after being hung from a hook to conceal the elopement of Isabella. The Yorkshire housekeeper Nellie Dean narrates the majority of this 1847 novel. Catherine Earnshaw loves the brooding Heathcliff in what? Mattoon.
Wuthering Heights.
Wuthering Heights is correct. Sorry, let's get that right. Okay. You've heard the song. Have you read the book? All right. For a point each, now Mattoon has the first crack at this set of bonus questions. Answer these questions about the straight chain compound whose chemical formula is, sorry, I'm getting the very small print up here, C5H18. Sorry, C8H18. What name, based on the Greek word for 8, is given to this compound? Answer?
Octo.
I cannot accept that.
Octane.
Octane is correct, yes. All right, Mattoon. What term describes the 18 different structural forms of octane, with each one denoting a different branching of the carbon chain? Answer? I'm afraid that's time. Charleston?
Isomer.
Isomer is correct. And then finally, octane is an example of what class of hydrocarbons that have the maximum possible number of hydrogens for their structure? Take a guess.
Full?
No, I'm afraid I can't accept that. Charleston?
Benzene.
Benzene is in fact saturated. Okay. Very good. Let's move on to the next toss-up question. Orphic cults revered this goddess as an omnipresent nature deity called Kore. Mattoon?
Persephone.
Persephone is correct. Well done. All right, Mattoon, you have the next set, first crack at this next set of bonus questions. This man proclaimed, "I shall return," after evacuating the Philippines during World War II. For a point each, name this general who was later removed from command by Harry Truman due to opposing opinions over the Korean War. Go ahead.
McCarthy.
MacArthur is correct. MacArthur received this country's surrender in 1945. It was led into the war by Prime Minister Hideki Tojo.
Japan.
Japan is correct. Finally, after being removed from command, MacArthur said in a speech to Congress that people he referred to by this two-word phrase never die, they just fade away. Answer?
War heroes?
No, I can't accept that.
True patriots.
No, I'm afraid it was old soldiers. I'm just glad none of you said professors. All right, it is true. Old soldiers never die, they just fade away. All right, back to the next toss-up question here. This program segment, The Outcrowd, won the first Pulitzer Prize in a category that debuted in 2020. In 2014, this program debuted the spin-off podcast, Serial. Themed interviews and stories are heard weekly on what radio show syndicated on NPR and hosted by Ira Glass? Yes, Charleston.
Fresh Air.
No, I'm afraid that's incorrect. Mattoon? Answer? No, it is This American Life. Okay, moving on to the next toss-up then. Sorry, just clear that buzzer. In this city, police union leader John Catanzara resisted a vaccine mandate that he compared to the Holocaust. This city's current mayor chaired a police accountability task force after the murder of Laquan McDonald. Lori Lightfoot is the mayor of what Midwestern? Charleston.
Chicago.
Yes, if you hadn't gotten that, someone in the room hadn't gotten that, it would have been a bit shocking. Well done. Okay. Tears of Wine, this is the next set of bonus questions, first crack at Charleston gets. Tears of wine form due to gradients in this quantity in the Marangoni effect. For a point each, name this phenomenon caused by cohesion forces that allows some insects to walk on water.
Surface tension.
Surface tension is correct. Well done. Surface tension encourages water droplets to take this shape, which minimizes the area to volume ratio. This shape's volume is 4/3 pi times the radius cubes.
Sphere.
The sphere is correct. Finally, the formation of spherical bubbles can be aided by these substances, such as detergents, which reduce surface tension.
Base.
No, I'm afraid that's incorrect. Mattoon, chance to pick up that last bonus.
Soap.
It's in fact, although soap is one, it's the general class that we were looking for, surfactants. All right, on to the next toss-up question. In 1850, this man paid a $1,000 a night fee to Swedish singer Jenny Lind for an American tour. His American museum displayed things like the Fiji mermaid and the diminutive general Tom Charleston.
Barnum.
Barnum is correct, P.T. Barnum. All right, you get first crack at this next set of bonus questions, Charleston. In 2010, Ronnie Lee Gardner was executed after spending decades on death row. For a point each, Gardner's long stint on death row prompted passage of a Utah law that limits this legal process of petitioning courts to re-examine a verdict.
Appeal.
Appeals correct. Due to his mental illness, the jury at Gardner's murder trial was given the option of convicting him on this charge generally reserved for homicides less culpable than murder.
Manslaughter.
Manslaughter is correct. Gardner's execution was carried out via this method, which Utah is the only state to have employed since 1960.
Beheading.
I shouldn't be laughing. No, it is not beheading. Taking a guess, Mattoon?
Hanging.
Hanging? No, it is in fact firing squad. All right. Don't mess around in Utah. All right. Toss up again. A speaker in this poem asks whether a corpse planted in Stetson's garden has begun to sprout. This poem's first section, The Burial of the Dead, begins by describing April as the cruelest month. For a point, what 1922 poem by T.S. Eliot compares modern society? Mattoon.
The Wasteland.
The Wasteland is correct. Well done. To desolate terrain. All right, Mattoon, you have the first crack at this one. This set of bonus questions. In 1951, this North African kingdom was created by uniting Cyrenaica, Fezzan, Tripolitania. For a point each, name this country subsequently ruled by King Idris I.
Somalia.
No, it was not Somalia. Charleston?
Lesotho.
No, it is in fact Libya. All right, back to Mattoon. In 1969, Idris was overthrown by this military strongman who controlled Libya until shortly before his 2011 death. Answer? Okay, no answer there. Charleston?
Smith.
Curiously enough, it was not Smith, but Muammar Gaddafi. All right. And finally, Mattoon, Libya was under a brief British administration at its independence, but was also previously a colony of this country, which also occupied Ethiopia and Albania during World War II.
France.
No, it was not France. Charleston?
Italy.
It was Italy, correct. Okay, very good. Let's move on now to the next toss-up question. A mathematician born in what is now this country pointed out an interesting property of the number. We'll start at that, so we'll finish. An interesting property of the number 1729 to G.H. Hardy. The decimal number system currently in use was transmitted from this country to the Islamic world. For a point, name this home country of Srinivasa Ramanujan. Mattoon, India is correct. Well done. Do we continue on to do the bonus round after that? I think so. Let's let Mattoon have the first crack at this round of bonus questions, and then we'll break for the half. A series has this property of its partial sums approach a limit. For a point each, name this property the opposite of divergence.
Convergence.
Convergence is correct. This sequence, 1, 1/2, 1/3, 1/4, and so on, converges. But its series, 1 plus 1/2 plus 1/3 plus 1/4, and so on, diverges. We have the name of the sequence. Answer? Nope. Charleston?
No answer.
No answer. It is in fact a harmonic sequence. Finally, the series consisting of the reciprocals of perfect squares converges to this number squared over 6. Mattoon, any answer?
E.
No, E is not correct. Charleston?
2.
Neither of you particularly close. The number is pi. I had no idea either, but never mind. Let's have a round of applause at the end of our first half for both teams. looks like Charleston's got 24 to Mattoon's 11, but anything can happen in the second half. So stick around. We'll reconvene in about 12 minutes. Thank you. And so now, just because it has been 10 or 12 minutes and the audience may not remember some of the people who introduced themselves the first time, we'll just have the teams introduce themselves completely once more, starting with the captain. You don't have to reintroduce your coaches. And then the other team members, and we'll go in and test the buzzers. This time we'll start with Charleston. Go ahead.
John Peterson, Jr., and once again, Nick Wilde is my favorite dictator.
All right.
Dana Van Heis, freshman. Though I've changed my mind on my favorite dictator. It's now Lightning McQueen.
Okay.
Josie Worley, sophomore. Favorite dictator is Still Blaine.
Peyton Clifford, freshman, and my answer stays the same. My favorite dictator is Mickey Mouse.
Okay.
My name is Daniel Ogle. I'm a sophomore, and my favorite dictator is the punking robot from WALL-E.
Excellent. Well done. Do you want to test your buzzer there, Daniel? Thank you. Okay, over to Mattoon.
I'm Kendall Holzhauser. I'm a senior. Our coach is Mr. Wright, and my teammates will introduce themselves from my left to my right.
I'm Riley Elmendorf. I'm a sophomore.
Great.
I'm Sophia Hoppin. I'm a freshman.
Okay, Cynthia, you might want to lean in just a bit more on the mic. Next.
I'm Lincoln Wheeler. I'm a freshman.
Connor Gagney. I'm a freshman.
Excellent. Okay. So now we begin our second half with our first toss-up question. I've cleared the buzzers. Here we go. The site of this battle on Mount Saint-Jean escarpment is marked by the Lion's Mound. The earlier Battle of Wavre prevented some French forces from reaching this battle in time. The 100 Days ended with what victory for the Duke of Wellington and the final defeat of Napoleon? Charleston.
Waterloo.
Yes, an ABBA fan. Okay, well done. For a point each then, Charleston, on this toss-up, answer these questions about the hydrocarbons known as alkynes. Every alkyne molecule has at least one of what type of bond that includes 2 pi bonds and involves 6 electrons? Answer?
Ionic bond?
No, I'm afraid that's incorrect. Mattoon?
Triple bond?
Triple bonds is correct. Well done. The triple bond in the simplest alkyne, acetylene, has a length of about 120 of what units, equal to 10 to the negative 12 meters? Answer?
Nanometer.
I'm afraid that's incorrect. Mattoon? No answer? You thought it was nanometer too. It's picometers. When acetylene loses its hydrogens, the resulting 2-carbon anion is known by what 7-letter name? Take a guess.
Acetone.
No, I'm afraid that's incorrect. Although it does have 7 letters. Well done. Mattoon? No, it is carbide. Okay, moving on. This man was conceived when his father drunkenly slept with Aethra. He killed the Crommyonian sow and several bandits, including Procrustes, while on the road to Athens. Charleston?
Theseus.
Theseus is correct. All right, Charleston, you have the first crack at these bonus questions. For a point each, answer the following about controversial YA literature. Amélie Wenzhou delayed publication of this novel to address concerns over its depiction of forced labor. Red Tigress is a sequel to this 2019 novel. Answer?
No answer.
No answer. Mattoon? Not seeing a lot of knowledge there about this. This is a book called Blood Heir. All right. A controversial depiction of the Kosovo War, caused an author with this surname to halt publication of his novel A Place for Wolves. In a Rick Riordan series, a boy with this surname is the son of Poseidon. Do you want to consult?
Jackson.
Jackson is correct. Finally, in this frequently challenged Angie Thomas novel, Star Carter witnesses a policeman shoot Khalil. Answer?
Warrior Cats.
No, I'm afraid that's incorrect. Mattoon?
The Hate You Give.
Hate You Give, that's correct. All right, well done. Okay, next toss-up. This author's Tetrachordon was one of his 4 controversial pamphlets defending the right to divorce. He tried to justify the ways of God to men in a 12-book epic about man's first disobedience. For a point, name this British poet who depicted the Garden of Eden in Mattoon.
Milton.
Milton is correct. Well done. Mattoon has the first crack at this bonus set. A David Foster Wallace essay that asks the reader to consider these animals discusses the ethics of boiling them alive. For a point each, name these crustaceans whose tails are a common delicacy.
Lobsters.
Lobsters, correct. Lobsters have very long lives because their cells are prevented from aging by this enzyme, which repairs structures at the end of chromosomes. Answer?
Telomeres?
A prompt. You're close. It's the name of the enzyme we're looking for.
Telomerase?
That's correct. Well done. Okay. This American sculptor created a mobile called Lobster Trap and Fishtail. Answer? No, that's time for you, Charleston. Take a guess, or maybe you know it.
Smith.
You do not know it. Never mind. It is Alexander Calder, or Santi Calder. Okay. Good try, guys. Let's go on to the next toss-up. A former protagonist of this TV show resettled in Naktok Bay, Alaska during this show's 19th season. This show's 3rd spin-off is set in Hawaii. The tattooed forensic scientist Abby and the agent Jethro Gibbs were characters on what CBS? Charleston.
NCIS.
NCIS is correct. Well done. Next, the bonus questions. First for Charleston. This island hosts a 1560s icon of the Dormition of the Virgin that was finally attributed to the correct artist in 1983. For a point each, what island in the Mediterranean Sea was the birthplace of a Renaissance artist who painted Opening of the Fifth Seal and View of Toledo? Answer?
Sardinia.
No, it was not Sardinia. Mattoon?
Spain.
No, I'm afraid the answer was Crete. This painter of the burial of the Count of Orgaz was given a Spanish nickname reflecting his Cretan birth. Charleston. Go ahead.
Minos.
No, that's not correct.
Francisco de Goda.
No, it was El Greco. His original name was Domenicus Theotokopoulos. You can see why they called him El Greco. Finally, between living in Crete and Spain, El Greco lived in this home city of Tintoretto. Canaletto painted the Grand Canal of this Italian city.
Venice.
Venice is correct. Okay. Well done. Let's move on to the next toss-up question. Everyone, fingers on buzzers. This text's 2nd edition added the words, by the creator, to its final sentence, which states, there is grandeur in this view of life. It uses pigeon breeding to illustrate artificial versus natural selection. For a point, what 1859 book by Charles Darwin laid out his theory of evolution? Mattoon.
On the Origin of Species.
The Origin of Species is correct. Well done. Okay, Mattoon. You're going to have the first crack at this bonus round, but this is a pencil and paper ready one, so there'll be a little bit more time available to you for these. For a point each, answer these questions about angle x, which measures 30 degrees. What is the measure of the angle that is complementary to angle x?
$150.
I'm afraid that is incorrect. Charleston?
60 degrees.
60 degrees is correct. What is the cosecant? Sorry, not much calculation needed for these after all. I misspoke, I think. Although it does say pencil and paper at the ready. What is the cosecant of x, given that the sine of x equals 1/2?
Two.
2 is correct. Well done. Finally, what is the cotangent of x? You have 10 seconds for this.
One.
Answer, no, it's not 1. Charleston? Answer?
4.
No, the answer is the square root of 3. Okay, moving on. Timeout? Okay, we're going to do another timeout if people need to stretch their legs or exchange places. Okay, we're about halfway through the second half. Score of 30 for Charleston, 18 for Mattoon. We will have the new players buzz in and introduce themselves. We'll start with the new players for Charleston. Go ahead.
Annabelle Worley, senior.
Noah Stepp, sophomore. And
Still.
Yeah,
Okay.
my favorite dictator is still Wally.
Okay.
Blaine Homan, sophomore. And my favorite dictator is actually Dumbo. I'm sorry, I forgot about Dumbo.
Okay.
My bad.
Any other new players on this side? He just moved, so it's on to you.
My name is Daniel Chinchilla. My favorite dictator is still Pumbaa.
Okay, very good. And over here we have some new players? No, you're all the same people. Okay, sorry, I'm old. You have to tell me. All right, thank you very much. Now we will begin again, resuming the clock with the next toss-up. This country's Operation Uranus forced the surrender of Friedrich Paulus. The invasion of this country in Operation Barbarossa ended the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact, under which it invaded Poland in 1939. What country... Charleston.
Russia.
I need a bit more than that.
The Soviet Union.
Soviet Union is correct, yes. Okay, good. So that's a point to Charleston, and you get the first crack at these bonus questions. At the start of the Civil War, 11 members of this party were expelled from the Senate. For a point each, name this party that opposed the Whigs in the second party system. Thomas Nash symbolized them with a donkey.
Democrat.
Democrat Party, yes. During the Civil War, Democrats who wanted an immediate peace treaty with the Confederacy were known by the name of this venomous snake.
Copperheads.
Copperheads are correct. In 1864, the Democrats nominated this general for president, but he lost to Abraham Lincoln. This man defeated Robert E. Lee at Antietam.
Grant.
No, it was not Grant. Mattoon?
Johnson.
No, nor was it Smith. It was George McClellan. Okay, good. Next toss-up. In this country, let's clear the buzzers there. In this country, protests called the Estallido Social opposed a rise in transit fares. In this country's 2021 elections, Jose Antonio Cast lost to the leftist Gabriel Boric. For a point, Boric plans to reverse neoliberalism enacted in what South American country under Augusto Pinochet?
Chile.
Charleston got it. Chile is correct. All right, next set of bonus questions to literature again. For a point each, answer the following about handkerchiefs in British literature. This not a sentence I expected to say this evening. This Charles Dickens novel is named for an orphan who removes embroidery from handkerchiefs stolen by members of Fagin's gang.
Oliver Twist.
Oliver Twist is correct. In C.S. Lewis's The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, Lucy lends a handkerchief to this faun, who is the first being that Lucy meets in Narnia.
Tumnus.
Mr. Tumnus is correct. Finally, in Shakespeare's Othello, Iago puts a handkerchief in this character's room to suggest that Desdemona is having an affair with this man.
Iago.
No, I'm afraid that's incorrect. Mattoon? No answer? It was in fact Smith. No, it's not. It's Michael Cassio. Michael Cassio. Sorry, literature professors in the room. All right. For a mass on a spring, this is a toss-up, for a mass on a spring, this quantity equals 1 over 2 pi times the square root of this spring constant over the mass. A system displays resonance when driven at the natural value of this quantity. The reciprocal of the period is what quantity measured in units of hertz? Mattoon.
Frequency.
Frequency is correct. Well done. So you have the first crack at this bonus set. Google removed this services app from its store following reports that rioters at the Capitol used it to coordinate their efforts. For a point each, name this social networking service billed as a right-wing alternative to other forms of social media. I'm afraid this is for Mattoon, sorry.
Oh, it's a bonus. I'm sorry.
It's a bonus. It's all right.
It's okay.
Don't say anything just yet. Answer? I'm afraid that's time. Charleston? You had an answer a minute ago.
Parlor?
Parlor is correct. Okay. Some users of this social media service moved to Parler after Donald Trump's account on it was deactivated in 2021.
Twitter.
Twitter is correct. This CEO of Apple announced in January 2021 that the Parler app would be removed from the Apple Store. Answer?
Bill Gates.
No, I'm afraid that's incorrect. Charleston?
Cook.
Cook is correct, Tim Cook. Okay. Okay, next toss-up. Blooms of Carenia brevis in this body of water caused its disruptive red tides. The world's worst oil spill occurred in this body of water on BP's Deepwater Horizon rig. A sea current that warms the eastern seaboard is a stream named after what body of... Charleston?
Gulf of Mexico.
Gulf of Mexico is correct. So you guys have the first opportunity to answer this next set of bonus questions. For a point each, answer the following about British expeditions toward Antarctica. In 1774, this captain's second Pacific voyage reached 70 degrees south latitude, but fell short of the American continent.
Amundsen.
No, it was not Amundsen. Mattoon?
Johnson.
No, it was Cook. James Cook this time instead of Timothy Cook. Okay. This Royal Navy captain reached the South Pole in January 1912, but died on the return trip.
Sherman.
No, it was not Sherman. Mattoon?
Johnson.
It was not Johnson. It was, in fact, Scott of the Antarctic. Tragic story. You should check it out. All right. After this man's ship, the Endurance, was crushed by pack ice along the coast, he made an impressive journey to South Georgia using only a lifeboat.
Smith.
No, it was not Smith.
Johnson.
Is there a law firm in town called Smith & Johnson, which these guys have been paid to... No, it was in fact Shackleton. Okay, never mind. Is that a timeout? Okay, one more timeout. Okay, just coming back from that timeout. No changes here, I see. So were there some changes here, or did you just shuffle? Yes, there are. Go ahead and introduce yourselves, new players.
I'm Gavin Maudry, sophomore.
Excellent. You want to test your buzzer again there, Gavin? Sorry, I hadn't cleared it. Well done.
Sarah Muzzy, freshman.
Super.
Judy Connett, freshman.
Well done.
Alice Elliott, senior.
Excellent. Okay. So now we will resume with our last, I think, almost 3.5 minutes, 3 minutes 42 on that clock, with our next toss-up question. I've cleared the buzzer. Here we go. In this city, over 1,000 people died in 1904 when a steamship called the General Slocum sank. Francis Perkin investigated a 1911 disaster in this city exacerbated by locked doors that killed 146 garment workers. In what city did the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory fire occur? Mattoon.
New York.
New York is correct. Okay, so yours is this next set of bonus questions, Mattoon. In 1722, this composer collected keyboard pieces into a notebook he gave to his wife, Anna Magdalena. For a point each, name this composer whose The Well-Tempered Clavier was also completed in 1722. Take a guess. Answer.
Mozart.
No, I'm afraid it was not Mozart. Go ahead. Bach is correct, Charleston. All right. Bach's work belongs to this period of music that gave way to the classical period in the mid-18th century. Answer? No. Oh, go ahead.
No answer.
No answer. Oh, all right. All right. Charleston?
Baroque.
Baroque is correct. The notebook for Anna Magdalena contains two of these brief pieces in G that were long misattributed to Bach, but were actually written by Christian Petzold. Mattoon? Answer? Nope. Charleston?
Minuets.
Minuets is correct. Okay. Finally, the next toss-up. Pencil and paper ready. Carlota needs to know the only value of c for which the quadratic polynomial x squared plus 18x plus c is a perfect square. Since c must equal the square of 1/2 b, she finds, for a point, what value of c that makes x squared plus 18x plus c a perfect square. This is a toss-up, so you can ring in when you have it. Charleston?
3.
No, I'm afraid that's incorrect. Mattoon, we'll give you a few more seconds to work on it. Sorry, I didn't clear. Go ahead.
9.
No, I'm afraid the answer is 81. I think they were just about ready to call that out from the audience. Maybe not. I had no idea. You were in the right ballpark, clearly, with your 3s and your 9s. All right, let's go on to the next toss-up. A house in this city has a nickname meaning stone quarry and boasts an undulating facade. Nativity and Passion facades adorn a basilica in this city, which also contains the Casa Mila. 8 of 18 planned spires decorate Antoni Gaudi's Sagrada Familia.
Barcelona.
Barcelona is correct. All right, Charleston, you have the first crack at this set of bonus questions. This liquid is produced by goblet cells in the lining of many internal organs. For a point each, name this bodily secretion, the liquid discharged from the nostrils during a runny nose.
Mucus.
Mucus is correct. Mucous membranes are found in many reproductive organs, including this lower section of the uterus that dilates during labor.
The birth canal.
No, I'm afraid that's incorrect.
Cervix.
Cervix is correct. And coughing up thick mucus from the lungs is common in people with this genetic disorder, which is named for the scars and growths that it causes in the pancreas. Answer?
No answer.
No answer. Mattoon? Go ahead.
Diabetes.
No, I'm afraid it's cystic fibrosis. Okay, next toss-up. After this author, we'll finish, since I just got it in there. After this author was prosecuted for slander, he took revenge by writing The Knights, which criticized a general named Cleon. In another play by this author, a long war ends after the title woman organizes a sex strike. What ancient Greek wrote the comedy Lysistrata? Charleston?
Aeschylus.
No, it was not Aeschylus. Mattoon? Gonna take a guess? Answer? Nope. That is time. It was, in fact, Aristophanes. All right. That concludes our second half and the game. So I have no idea what the score is. Let's have a round of applause. I look at that. So 44-22 in favor of Charleston. A great game. I learned a lot this evening. I congratulate all of the players, both here on the stage and in the audience. I want to thank their coaches for bringing them once again for the Coles County Clash Intellectual Edition, although there's an intellectual aspect to football as well. And I also want to thank the parents and guardians and other family members who are here and friends who have come out to support the teams, as well as, of course, the Doudna crew and the producers from WEIU, who will be broadcasting this shortly. I'm not exactly sure when, but check your listings. It'll be out there. Let's have a round of applause for the players and the coaches. Thank you.
McDonald's of Effingham and Coles County are WEIU TV's exclusive supporter of the Coles County Clash Scholastic Bowl. McDonald's of Effingham and Coles County are proud of all the contestants in this program. Enjoy the show from your friends at McDonald's of Effingham and Coles County.